This week on the Four Rivers Ag Report, how's the harvest going? The crop guys are here this week to tell us. And with yield harvests coming in higher than anyone expected, we ask why. Also, I've seen all types of livestock before, but never one I wanted to step on with my shoe. That and more on the Four Rivers Ag Report. The Four Rivers Ag Report is underwritten in part by
The Department of Geology-Geography is a proud sponsor of the Four Rivers Ag Report and provides integrative learning opportunities for students and the community to explore the physical and cultural world near and far.
Welcome to the Four Rivers Ag Report. I'm Fred Peralta. You know, the term autumn makes us think of pretty leaves, crisp sunny days, and football games. Fall, on the other hand, suggests what's coming down the road: falling rain, falling temperatures, falling daylight. And Tuesday's damp and cold certainly brought all that home. Bring in the hoses, drain the mower, make sure you know where those snow shovels are. I can hardly wait. But I am sincerely anxious to hear how the farmers in our area are doing and what they're finding in their grain bins. So I bravely went out and contacted the crop guys to find out just how busy a one-armed paper hanger is these days. And now I was able to drag him to the phone. Leroy, how does the fall season look for you? How is harvest going?
Harvest has been going really well. Yields have been just outstanding, and we should finish up by Friday night if something don't happen. But showers have slowed us down a little the last couple of days, but things are going really well.
So what sort of yields are you getting?
Well, we've got a lot of 200 bushel corn, and Cumberland County, that's really good.
I was going to say that's good for down south.
We're very happy with our yields. Our beans run up in the high 50s, low 60s, and so everything's just about 25% better than we expected.
So what do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I have nothing good hybrid. Maybe it's just the outstanding soil we have down here.
That and the expert farmers taking care of it, right?
There you go. No, I know we had a lot of rain this spring, and the ground soaked it up, and then when the dry weather hit this fall, I presume there was enough moisture left in the ground to keep us going, and that's the only explanation I've got. That we just had a little reserve and probably used it all.
Well, I'd rather be lucky than good, right?
Yes, right, please.
Okay, so you're going to finish up with what, beans?
We're done with beans. We got the beans cut a while back. We've got some beans that was planted in July after the river went down when we got flooded out this spring, and they'll probably be another week or 10 days before they're ready, but the frost helps bring them along, so after the weather settles down here in a few days, while we can cut them. We've got about 100 acres of them, and they look pretty good. I'm optimistic they might make 30 bushel.
Well, from your lips, right?
Yeah, there you go. As farmers, we're always optimistic.
Until you're not. Okay, well, Leroy, thank you very much, and good luck with the rest of the harvest. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you. Nice talking to you, Fred.
Okay. And now our friend Matt Bennett is here. And Matt, how has harvest been going for you guys?
It's been going very well. We haven't had a whole lot of hiccups. We are finished with our soybean harvest, and then on corn, we're about three-quarters of the way through.
So any surprises?
I'd say surprises for us would include bean yield was higher than we thought, considering we had no moisture in August and early September. And also our corn was, I'd say, significantly better than we anticipated.
So that seems to be a theme here. What sort of ballpark yields have you been getting?
I'd say our whole farm average on corn to this point in harvest is over 200, which we did not anticipate that. Our bean yields, probably in the high 50s. And I would have said mid-40s, I guess, before harvest.
I think that's what a lot of people were thinking. So what do you attribute this to?
I think genetics have a lot to do with it. Having so much moisture after the crop got established, even though we had a late start, it gave us really healthy plants going into August and September. And then fortunately, even though we had dry conditions, we didn't have extreme heat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was very good for our crops to not endure more stress than they were already enduring because of the heat, and therefore they were able to salvage as many bushels as possible.
So it sounds like it was not quite the dream scenario, but not the nightmare scenario we were fearing, was it?
Right, exactly.
So how much longer do you think you have to go before you get wrapped up?
Oh, I would say that we will be done in about a week.
So
maybe 10 days at the most if we have problems.
So, the rain not setting you back any?
No, not really. I mean, the rain really hasn't set us back near as much as what we would have thought. I mean, we haven't had more than a tenth or two at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And like last night, it came at the right time where it was basically whenever we wanted to quit anyway.
Very good. Well, listen, Matt, good luck on the rest of your harvest. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, thank you much.
And I finally got Bill Uphoff on the phone here. And Bill, it's kind of crazy time of year, isn't it?
It's very busy, yes. There's not much time at home, but it's all well worth it. The harvest is a good time of year.
It's a lot of fun for you guys, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's what there's not one thing a guy does that doesn't lead to the harvest, and so when you actually get out there to bring it in, it's very rewarding.
So how rewarding has it been, sir?
Surprisingly so. It's been pretty positive. Obviously, a huge turnaround from last year, but above that, it's surprising that we've had so little rain to finish the beans out, particularly, and still having above average bean yield, and the corn yields are way and beyond average.
So what are the bean yields?
Our low end are in the low 40s on up to 60.
Who would have thought that?
We're a couple of bushels above our farm average here in this small little microcosm of the universe.
And speaking of that microcosm, how's your corn doing?
Pretty good. We've gotten very little of it harvested at this point, but what we've been in is on some what we'd call thinner ground, and typically is very low productive soils, and they're well above average this year as well. So that's very surprising to us.
Now you've had some issues with water this season, and so you're a little bit behind some of the other guys in the getting it in.
Sure.
What's your schedule looking like?
We probably would need another 3 weeks to finish completely. We've been in 3 weeks now, and we'll probably need another 3 to finish up.
So you weren't pulling my leg when you said get done by Thanksgiving, then?
Right. Yeah. But and if it sets in and gets wet, our goal may shift to be done by the middle of December. It just all plays pretty heavily on that.
Now we got a little bit of rain, but is the cold going to bother you, or is that not an issue?
No, I don't think. We've just got 12 acres of beans to cut, and we've got more than enough leniency to work those in. Just in an hour of sunshine, we could have those out. And the corn, it's probably at this time of the calendar year done drying anyway.
Exactly.
So a guy's just going to take it in at whatever moisture level it happens to be. So cold does not affect the corn harvest at all, and actually it's nicer to work in than 80 degrees anyway, so it's all good.
Well, it's all good seems to be the theme. So, Bill, good luck. We'll be talking to you soon, and let us know how the rest of the harvest goes, okay?
Sure will, Fred.
Thank you. And now our friend down south, Todd Wachtel. Todd, how's the harvest going for you guys?
Good morning, Fred. Harvest is going pretty well. I don't think the weather has knocked us out several times for hours at a time, but I don't think we've missed a day since we started a month ago today. So we've been in the field every day. A couple tenths of rain last night. We're hoping we can cut beans if the sun comes out and the air moves a little bit. We can cut beans this afternoon, hopefully, and we need about one more good day of cutting beans, and we'll finish that crop up.
So how are the beans looking?
I told you last time, they're way above average for us. So
right.
We're pleasantly surprised.
So you're
a lot of fields.
And last time you were really excited about your corn yield. How's that come along?
We haven't shelled a lot of corn since I talked to you last time, but we we shelled a little bit when we had a couple of little showers, and we're right at half done shelling corn. So another 3 weeks of shelling, we should be able to wrap that crop up too. But corn yields are holding right in there. I mean, it should be a record crop for us.
Yeah, Leroy Scott was talking about how great it was for down south as opposed to the past years. Why do you think that was?
Well, I think a lot of it can be attributed to how cool it was in July and August. We had we had almost 5 inches of rain over most of our ground in July, and it was well below normal temperatures. So those two are a great combination for growing corn. We didn't get a whole lot of rain in August, but it was still cool. We probably only had a handful of days over 90 all summer, so with so much different than last year. But that, and I think a lot of people have been seeing a strong response from fungicide usage and a split application of nitrogen this year. So if you put that extra nitrogen out there to feed the corn, Mother Nature cooperated and let that all work together to grow some phenomenal yield.
So we're not complaining, are we?
No, not complaining.
Yeah, okay. Well, but you think you have another 2-3 weeks?
It's what it's looking like. I mean, you never want to assume that you can be in the field every day once you get towards the end of October and early November. But, if we can average 5 days a week, 3 weeks should finish up. But
well, excellent. Good luck, and we'll be checking in with you to see how it all wrapped up.
Of course, when you finish harvest, you're still not done because there's tillage work to do, and fall spraying has become so popular nowadays, and you want to try to get all the fields sprayed so they stay clean going into the spring. They warm up faster, dry up faster,
and get back in the field faster.
And get back in the field faster in the spring.
Excellent. Well, good luck, sir. We'll be talking to you soon.
All right, thanks, Fred.
Next week, we'll try to get the rest of the guys on to find out just how miserable a farmer can be when things are going really well. And speaking of going well, here's Casey with some real digits for us this week. Casey?
Thanks, Fred, and I'm Casey Berry with a look at your farm news for this week. Now, as I'm sure you've all heard by now, the government shutdown is over, meaning we've got our crop reports from the USDA once again. Temperatures have drastically cooled over the past couple of weeks, and our average temperatures are now sitting at about 52 degrees. Now, we've only gotten about a half inch of precipitation, and in many areas in the northern parts of the state, they saw, wait for it, snow. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to think about snow just yet. So let's call it a powdery white rain. Drought conditions have remained about the same over the past several weeks, with the moderate drought covering western portions of the east-southeast district and a severe drought on the borders. Coles County is sitting in abnormally dry conditions, and maybe we can stay that way for just a little while longer so farmers can get out in the fields to get all of those crops out. Now, for those crop conditions, winter wheat is coming in at 16% fair, 81% good, and 3% excellent. That crop is 68% planted across the state, and 24% of wheat has already emerged. 99% of soybeans are turning yellow, while 97% are dropping leaves, and 68% have been harvested. Now, the east-southeast district is a little behind the rest of the state, though not by much, as 97% of the beans are turning yellow, 93% are fair, and 69% of the beans have been harvested. Soybean conditions are coming in at 2% very poor, 7% poor, 29% fair, 52% good, and 10% excellent. And as for that corn crop, well, it's sitting at 2% very poor, 6% poor, 24% fair, 47% good, and 21% excellent. Now, in the east-southeast district, 96% of corn is mature, while 48% has been harvested. And again, those numbers are slightly behind the rest of the state, where the corn is 97% mature and 51% harvested. Farmers in the area have been harvesting a very good corn crop, and given the weather, many are wondering how good it could have been if it had rained in late July and August. Todd Gleason has more on the growing season from the University of Illinois.
The corn crop's coming in, and you can call it a bin buster if you want. That's pretty different than anyone expected. It just didn't rain in late July and August. Fortunately, there was plenty of moisture, too much in fact, in the ground prior to the rainfall shutdown. Well, as it dwindled away, the corn crop seemed always to be just a day or so away from losing connection with the water in the soil.
So I think what we had was a crop that, just sort of kept going and was probably on the verge of giving up at some point. Once we started to see the crop, not dying early, in other words, it was maturing about when the growing degree days said it should, then we knew that, that it was still getting water and enough to fill the kernels out completely, and that's what happened.
The good yields farmers are bringing in all started during the pollination period. The NIC went very well. Illinois was doing an irrigation study on corn at the time.
We thought this would be, with the dry weather we had after mid-July, we thought that irrigation would make quite a difference. And some people might remember that in mid-August, at the time of the agronomy day, I suggested we might have 300 bushel yields with irrigation in our corn crop. It really looked like a very good crop, and it turns out it was a good crop. The really surprising thing, though, is with a total of 1 inch of rain in August and September, and with irrigation we added over 9 inches of water during that period. So one set of plots there had 9.7 more inches of water than the other set, and it made a difference in yield of less than 20 bushel.
The shock then is that without additional water, without more nitrogen, without a fungicide, the difference between the irrigated and non-irrigated corn was less than 20 bushels. The check yielded 240 bushels to the acre under what most considered adverse weather conditions. Not bad for a good crop. For University of Illinois Extension, I'm Todd Gleason.
You might want to listen in to this next story because research is showing farmers are second only to construction workers in hearing loss. Researchers at the University of Michigan say farmers are losing their hearing at an alarming rate, and they gathered 500 participants from across the country to develop interventions and help farmers recognize the risks and needs to wear hearing protection. The university says the Occupational Safety and Health Administration doesn't regulate noise exposure on farms. It's estimated that up to 72% of the 1.3 million farmers nationwide have hearing loss. Farmers back to school? Well, not quite, but Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack is trying to bring farms to the schools by offering healthy local food to millions of school children through the USDA's Farm to School program. He says the program's role is to create economic opportunity for America's farmers and ranchers. The first ever Farm to School census in the 2011 to 2012 school year shows schools participating in the program's activities purchased and served over $350 million in local food, and more than half of the schools said they plan to purchase even more local foods in future school years. 43% of public school districts across the country reported having an existing farm-to-school program in place, and 13% of the school districts surveyed say they're committed to launching a farm-to-school program in the future. Fruits, vegetables, and milk are the most common products offered in schools across the country, but some say they'd be interested in purchasing grains, meat, and poultry in the future. Vilsack says these efforts help schools continue to enhance the health of the school food environment, meet the new meal standards, and demonstrate the role local food can play in school meals. Finally today, we talk about crop farms a lot on Four Rivers, but we've never talked about this kind of farm before. A farm in China is using an old chicken coop to raise a different kind of livestock, millions of cockroaches. Now, that thought just makes me squirm. I don't like cockroaches, but farmers have to keep the coop dark because cockroaches aren't accustomed to light. Wang Fuming is the largest cockroach producer in China and probably in the world, with 6 farms populated by an estimated 10 million cockroaches. Now, he sells them to producers of Asian medicine and to cosmetic companies that value insects as cheap sources of protein, as well as for those cellulose-like substances on their wings. The favored breed for cockroaches? Well, the American cockroach, a reddish-brown insect that grows to about 1.5 inches long, and when mature, well, they can fly, as opposed to the smaller, darker, wingless German cockroach. So what's the going rate for a cockroach? Well, a dried version of this insect goes for about $20 a pound. Fuming says you can invest about $3.25 in a cockroach and get about $11 back. Pretty sure I'll just stick to my day job and just let him keep his $3.25. Well, if that's not enough to make your skin crawl, I don't know what is. And that wraps up this week. I'm Casey Berry. Stay safe out there.
And for this week, Under the Four River Skies, we are asking what is under the Four River Skies going on here?
Well, it's a little chilly,
Yes.
which is nice.
Yes.
We had a bit of snow this week in the Champaign area in northern Illinois.
Yes.
So that was exciting for those of us who
My
enjoy
least favorite
snow.
four-letter word.
I know. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, well.
So yeah, freezing temperatures. Basically, we're getting to the point where vegetation all around is going to start shutting down.
So when does the first frost really mean that the growing season's over? And what is the growing season?
The growing season is essentially from frost to frost, but you have to give it a few days here and there. Essentially, when we talk about trees, when the trees start to shut down, it's because it's gotten too cold. They can't get enough energy into the leaves and out the leaves. The process, the biological process, the physiological aspect, it shuts down, and so then the trees put a ring on.
Okay.
And so it's across the board with all sorts of vegetation.
Okay. So grasses, bushes, trees.
Yeah, they go dormant until the sun begins to peak over the equator into the northern hemisphere come our spring,
Yes.
and then puts energy on the surface of the earth, and then the vegetation responds to that, and then bursts.
Okay, so it's after the first, it's really too late for any flowers or anything you want to save.
Yeah, you can lingering mums, inside. So, and that's what's nice about the tropical vegetation that we have, our house plants.
Right.
They stay nice and green all year.
Nice and green and gives us a little bit of oxygen.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, weather-wise, it's been, you said it's cold. You've been spot on since the last time we talked. Spot periods of precipitation.
That's right. And frequent periodic rainfall, which has helped with the drought situation, and also the roller coaster effect of our temperatures.
Okay.
We will continue to see near normal temperatures over the next month.
Okay, that's near normal is what?
Near normal is the low 40s,
Okay.
43 and a half for the Charleston area.
Okay.
And so that's going to be near normal. And precipitation-wise, we're going to stay near normal, so which is nice, about 3 inches, 3.5 inches.
Now we're talking a constant chance of rain, or they're periodic in and
We're going
out?
to continue to see this fluctuation back and forth
Okay.
of rain, dry, rain, dry.
Okay, so the farmers will get a chance to get in there and get the beans out that they need to get
That's
out.
right, that's
and
right, yes.
the sunny days can get the corn
And the
going.
nice thing is that it's not going to be one of those precipitation events where it's just a deluge. It's going to just, because fall, we're just coming out of a dry period, a drought situation, and so we'll get the nice frequent periodic rains, and so it won't be a mess.
Now, I didn't prepare to ask you this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. We are in a drought.
Yes.
What would be the best way of us getting out? The slow precipitation, a foot of snow,
Yes.
what?
What was it? Last year we had someone say we need, and it would be nice to have some snow. Well, in order to get out of drought, you have to have about 14 feet of snow, but and slow melting. But we're not going to look at that. But what we need is the slow, drizzly type of rain. That allows the precipitation to be soaked into the soil. That's how we get out of that.
Okay, well, it's that time of year I have to shut up, don't I?
That's right.
Anyway, thank you, Cameron.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessica Killow with your Inside Extension. Do you have an interest in gardening? Want to learn more about gardening, fruit trees, and how to manage insect pests? If you answered yes to these questions and have time to volunteer in the community and share your knowledge with others, then you may be interested in becoming a Master Gardener. Training for new Master Gardeners will begin soon. For more information, visit our website or call the Coles County Extension Office at 217-345-7034. 4-H Day at the Edward Jones Dome will be Sunday, November 3rd. The game will begin at noon as the St. Louis Rams take on the Tennessee Titans. Illinois and Missouri 4-H members, families, and volunteers are all invited to attend. For more information on getting tickets, visit our website. Tickets are going fast, so order yours now. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and visit our website to stay up to date on our programming. From U of I Extension serving Coles, Cumberland, Moultrie, Douglas, and Shelby counties, this has been Jessica Killow with your Inside Extension.
And finally, I finish the show each week asking you to be safe and yada, yada, yada. Well, unfortunately this week, we've seen several grain trucks involved in accidents with other vehicles. One of the accidents was feet in front of my daughter who was going to work that day. Every accident has 100 causes, and every accident is different. And luckily, the ones this week, there were no fatalities, and what injuries there were minor. But please, don't let the clock or the line at the elevator or lack of sleep become yet another reason for an accident that did not need to happen. That 10 to 15 seconds isn't worth the chaos that can happen. And speaking of chaos, next week we're talking Farm Bill and of course more harvest. But until then, work hard, be safe, and enjoy the beautiful sunsets. I'm Fred Peralta, and thanks for watching the Four Rivers Ag Report. The Four Rivers Ag Report is underwritten in part by
The Department of Geology-Geography is a proud sponsor of the Four Rivers Ag Report and provides integrative learning opportunities for students and the community to explore the physical and cultural world near and far.